All right, we're live.
All right.
We'll go ahead and get going. Hey, everybody, this is Jason, Colorado Mountain Man Survival. With me, I've got Aaron, uh, Hutch. Uh, any of you that have not joined me before, don't know me, I'm the owner of Colorado Mountain Man Survival and the Survival University. We teach survival classes. I primarily teach adults, uh, roughly 14 years old on up, but I do have younger kids that come out to my adult classes. But I don't teach children specific classes. So I brought in Aaron Hutchings, to come and run my kids program. He's really good with kids and teaching to their level. So I brought him in today to talk about signaling devices, whistles, things like that. But well, I'll just turn it over to you, Hutch, if you want to introduce yourself and do
Sure.
your thing.
All right. So, like Jason said, my name is Hutch. I just go by Hutch. I love teaching people of all ages, but I've always really enjoyed teaching the young adventurers. I actually have a company called Ready Set Adventure Box where we send adventures and stuff to people. And basically, I never wanted to stop being a Boy Scout. And because of that, I do get to do a lot of sort of safety-based stuff in schools and everything. And then obviously we do the Scout stuff. And so we're going to talk to you today about whistles. What I got around my neck here is a conch whistle, and I'll mention why in a minute. But aside from your clothing, which obviously your clothing's your first shelter layer, right? And wearing the proper clothing when you go out, that's when we teach search and rescue classes, one of the biggest things we want people to understand is have the right clothing. The next thing is if we could get people to wear a whistle, your voice will give out if you're calling. First off, especially if you're close to water or if you're down in a ravine, your voice really doesn't travel that far. And then on top of that, your voice will give out fairly quickly. I mean, professional singers, they have voice problems and they spend years and years and years doing all kinds of drills working out their voices, and they're not worried about water limitations or screaming or getting dry throats, all the things that you might have if you just got a little bit off. So this problem goes way back. Sailors used to communicate with whistles, and actually is kind of a weird note on a ship still today. I was in the Marine Corps, and still on the Navy books is technically the only person who's supposed to be whistling on a ship is the cook, because if the cook is whistling, he can't be eating everybody's chow, right? But then they would have aside from that, they would have these whistles for communicating, and that's why you weren't supposed to whistle, is they didn't want to get the communications mixed up. And no matter how big the waves are, no matter how bad the water, a whistle will carry. So I do recommend getting some kind of a toy whistle. We put this one in the Ready Set Adventure Box. It just sounds kind of like a harmonica. You can use something like, well, a regular harmonica. You can use a train whistle. Now, remember, these aren't what we want to put in our emergency bag. This is just to keep the big adventurers from losing their mind because you're running around practicing with a whistle. And it's also to make sure nobody thinks you have a real emergency. You know, if you're at the park or something and you're blowing this whistle a lot, it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf. So I do recommend you get a practice whistle, start playing with it around the house, because it'll help young adventurers sort of get in the habit of it. And this is really great, because what we can't agree on much, even with our own community. Is this knife better than that knife? What is going on? But almost anywhere you go, universally, there's this code that all outdoor people just agree on, whether they're scouts or search and rescue or military. And it's that if you blow a whistle one time, you want attention. So that would be like maybe your young adventurers are down by the water and you want to let them know it's time for supper, or you just want to, just whatever, signal them something. One whistle just means look at me. It's an attention getter, and then it would be followed up by some other command, maybe raise the sails, or rally to me, or hey, come here, or maybe you just want to point out that there's a cool animal upstream or something like that, because they're not going to be able to hear you down by water. Two whistles means come to me. No questions asked. I blow it twice. Tweet, tweet. It just means come to me. Maybe I saw a bear, or maybe a storm's coming in, or maybe I just, need you to come to me for some other reason. So that's pretty much universally agreed on. And then the most important one is anything repeated in sequences of 3 is the international sign for SOS. So it would be tweet, 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 then a little break. I always tell people count to 3. And also when you're using a real whistle, not your toy whistle you're playing with, but the whistles that are made for emergencies, these things are really, really loud. The storm whistles can be heard underwater. We use them in search and rescue and all kinds of stuff. You can hear them when we would come in with the dogs looking for people. If rubble and stuff had been knocked down in Afghanistan, we can hear it from underground. We can hear it if a ship has been capsized. Super loud whistles, but they will damage your hearing. So what I like to teach, especially young adventurers, is while you're blowing the whistle, cover your ears. So it would be like this: tweet, 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 and then uncover your ears, do the wolf ear, and listen. Is anybody responding to you? And while you're doing that, count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and then cover your ears again. Tweet, tweet, tweet. 1, 2, 3. Tweet, tweet, tweet. 1, 2, 3. You're not going to be losing your voice. You're not going to be expelling as much water. When we speak, after Jason and I teach big, long classes, we are tired and we are dehydrated because we've been talking and talking and talking. You lose a lot of water that way. And especially in Colorado, you might not be close to a water source. So using the whistle is going to help prevent dehydration. It's going to help prevent your voice going out, and it's going to increase the likelihood of being heard over very, very long distances. So that's the basics of whistles that I want everyone to know. But here's the kicker. If you forget that code, just like if you forget a specific knot, don't panic. There have been instances, stories told of people that were lost and maybe had broken their legs or something, and they would bang on an old lightning struck log or something hollow, just repetitive patterns. I promise you, no matter how far back I get in the woods, if I hear a continuous pattern, I'm going to want to investigate it because it's not natural. It's something I'm not used to hearing. If I were to hear like a bull roar or someone just banging on something, or even just a dog, right? Think about it. It's 2 a.m. You're finally going to sleep and you just hear roof, 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 roof. You can't get rid of it. You can't get it out of your brain, right? Now, as an adventurer, if I hear some kind of a continuous noise outside, I'm either going to come looking for you because, number one, I like to help people. And I'm going to think either A, it's someone in distress and they need help, I want to go find them, or B, it's Bigfoot. And I'll tell you what, if I find Bigfoot, we're going to be the biggest survival company in the world. So either way, we're going to come looking for you. So if you don't have your whistle, if you forget the code, just do a repetitive tone, repetitive noise. Try and do the 3 if you can, but anything repetitive. Now, if you don't have your whistle, but you can find some trash, we're actually going to show you 2 things. Jason's going to show you something just with natural things you find, and I like to adapt this modern primitive concept of use anything you can find, just like indigenous people used to use the bones or the rocks to make tools. We want to learn that too. We want to be able to learn those things, but don't stop there. You should be able to make cordage out of yucca and trash bags, right? You should be able to make a whistle out of bone and trash that you find. Almost anywhere you go, you're going to be able to find human trash, right? You're going to be able to find the top of a water bottle, the top of a beer bottle, maybe a chapstick cover, seashell, acorn also works. All you're looking for is anything that's mostly round. And we've got a video that's got point of views we're going to show you in a second. Okay, so you want something that's mostly round. Like I said, a seashell, as long as it's a roundish seashell, don't get those really pretty ones that look like unicorn horns, but something kind of round. And it's got to have a little bit of a place to blow wind into. It's got to have a concave section. So just like a bottle cap. And I'm not going to blow this in your ear because this is very, very, very loud. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use our fingers to create a wind cavity that when we blow over the top of this thing, it might take a time or two to get it just right, but you will blow whistles that, I mean, just are absolutely, they will get attention. They're pretty loud. Chapstick is probably one of the loudest, and then the little top to acorns works great as well. The only thing that limits you, you'll see in the demonstration video I'm about to show you, I used a rather large bottle, a rather large cap so that you could see everything. I really wanted you to get the angles from the side you'd be seeing, but you're limited by your hand size. The cap that I'm using is about the largest cap I can use, but I've got kind of small hands for a man, okay? My brother has big hands, like just big, hold a whole basketball kind of hands. He can do this with just about anything he picks up. So if you're not getting a sound, try adjusting your thumbs some, pushing them closer together or moving them up or down. Make sure you're blowing over the top. Basically, we're going to be making this kind of shape, and you'll see this better in a second on the video. So try adjusting those things, and if none of that works, if you're just getting a sound, you've just got too big of an acorn shell or cap. Just look for something closer to like a bottle cap size is what you really want. I guess probably best now, if we're ready to show that video, then you can see what we're talking about from a better angle, because if I demonstrate this with a mic on, it's going to blow out everybody's computers. Oop. Did I lose you, Jason? Oh, there
No,
we go.
I'm here. Sorry, I just had to.
I think we might be having some difficulties, so I'll just keep showing.
No,
let
let
me think on the hip here. Grab a piece of paper, and then whenever Jason jumps back, I think he might have a slow connection, or I do. So let's do this real quick. Let's grab a piece of paper and a marker.
Can you hear me?
You back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
How about now?
I can see you. Can you hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
I won't draw this then. We'll go ahead and show the video. The video's better. I was just going to fill your time up. Do you want to just go ahead and play the video? And if we can't hear it, I'll just talk over it.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Still yeah, I can't hear you at all, man. Okay. All right. All right, I can't hear the video, so if you can hear it, just go ahead and let Jason know. Otherwise, I'll talk over it. As you can see, you can use about anything. That's my inhaler. I have silicosis from doing search and rescue around the Twin Towers in the Marine Corps, so I have to carry an inhaler with me. You got a seashell. You've got chapstick tops work great. We'll show you later on how to make a full-on whistle out of chapstick, but let's say I just had my inhaler. I can pull the lid off. It's circular, right? And I can make a whistle out of it. You can do this with just about anything you carry. It's got some kind of a lid, right?
Can you hear me now, Aaron? Oh, can you hear me now? No? Okay.
Round, so it could be the acorn.
Okay. So all I'm doing, this is what I was about to do when we were shooting from the hip. Just drawing a circle, showing you it absolutely has to be circular, or pretty close to a circle. If it's kind of clam-shaped, whatever, you're fine. But then you need to create some sort of a V. Okay, like where the green is here. Now, where I'm drawing the green lines, that's the area we have to close off. If we were making a regular whistle, we would carve a little piece of wood to stick into the chamber to create that blockage. If you look at any whistle, you're going to see that. Now, where I'm scribbling here, the purple portion, that's where we need to blow our air. Our air needs to get into that cavity and make a little music note for us, okay? And it is going to be shrill. So this is about the largest cap I can use, and it's rather difficult for me, but I wanted to make sure you could see. We're just going to make a little V there. I use my thumbs, but you can use whatever you need. I just push the two knuckles together. So I've got sort of a peace sign looking thing right there. And I'm just going to blow right into that cavity. I'm actually trying to blow over the top if I really want the sound to carry. And if you could hear that, it is super loud. You can stop playing there, Jason. It just goes into an ad for Ready, Set, Adventure Box, which we'd love to hear from. If you have questions, we'd love to see you, but that's not what we're on here to show you. But you can hear this thing all the way across the football field. When we were kids, we used to actually do this at ball games and stuff until we got in trouble with our scoutmaster. But it was sort of our whistleblower. And then I'm going to just go ahead and say I would recommend. This is an SOL whistle. I don't work for them or anything, but you can see these box whistles. I love these because, as a matter of fact, I've probably got another one. Yeah, around my neck. Because the kids and I were out on a walk today. But what I do like is I like a whistle that doesn't have a P in it. And the reason you want a P-less whistle is a lot of the P's, the P is the little ball inside of the whistle. And a lot of those are not made from the same plastic as the whistle. And if they get wet, the whistle will no longer work. It'll get saturated and it won't bounce around enough. So I do recommend if you're going to carry an emergency whistle, be a P-less whistle. And then otherwise, you've got the bottle cap method. And then I'm not sure, I'm actually going to see. I got my thing pulled up if you want to answer me this way, Jason. I can't hear you at all. I'm not sure if the people can. Have they said if they can hear you? Or...
Can you hear me?
I can read your lips. I think you just said, can you hear me? But well, we won't leave you with too much dead space, guys. We can just add it on next time we come on. Jason was going to show you. And I'd show you, but not only am I not outside, but I can't do it. My wife likes to pick on me because she can do it. It's like a Kentucky secret, but Mr. Mountain Man Survival Guy can't. You can also take a blade of grass and put it between your thumbs, and it's loud. I mean, it is super impressive loud. So we'll just add that on to the next thing we do next time because we're going to start doing some questions at the end anyway. I guess otherwise, unless anybody emails any questions, I think Jason can put them up on the screen. You can always email me either through the Survival University or at readysetadventurebox@gmail.com. Don't try and respond on the videos. This video is up on YouTube if you want to watch it again and again, but we're trying to get out there for as much as we can. And in order to be on YouTube Kids, I can't have the responses open, so those had to be closed. So just email us if you have questions. And we actually have one question from last week. We didn't talk about fire, but we got this question. He said, okay, so if you do send us anything, if you want us to share information, this is Little Beaver from Missouri. Give us a nickname. We don't want to share your personal information. We want big adventures, little adventures to be comfortable. So Little Beaver from Missouri says, I just moved to Fort Lost in the Woods. I've been there, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Yes, Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. I'm from Montana. All my friends say I need a fire permit. Are they picking on me? Is this like a snape hunt? I don't know. When I was in Missouri, I did spend a little bit of time on that Army base, but I was there as a Marine, and we used to get to do things, as special and special operations sometimes, that's called proof of concept, so we were allowed to break certain rules. But what I do know is some places require permits, some places don't. It has to do with the temperature, it has to do with the climate, what's been going on that year, and some places, for example, as a teacher, sometimes even when Colorado's in fire ban, if I'm doing it classes at a resort or something, the resort can get a special fire license from the fire marshal or the sheriff. So they might not be picking on you. You'll want to look into that on yourself. It just really has to do. Missouri is a pretty damp place, so they might be picking on you. You should look into that. But it might be required, or it might just be on the specific parks you're going to, that park requires a permit, but other places don't. Some places won't even let you make fire at all. So I don't have a specific answer for you because you're not in Colorado. But I do know that that's something you should look into, and you can just do a quick Google search and call the park ranger for wherever it is that you want to go. So hopefully, Little Beaver, that answered your question. And for everybody else, I'm sorry we had some technical issues. Hopefully you got the whistle. And I guess, unless Jason wants to put something up on the screen or something, we'll probably just let you go there.
Can you hear me yet?
I can see you talking, sir, but I can't quite hear you. So we eat bugs for a living and make fire with sticks. So this is what we're always saying. Technology just might fail you. So even if it's something you've done a whole bunch of times, always have some kind of a backup, right? Guys, I'll just tell you, for Jason and for Survival University, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to try and do this weekly. We're going to try and have everything aimed very much at scoutcraft and quick things you can do that are 100% useful. They are real skills, but at the same time, you can walk in your backyard and play with them. So if you have any ideas, either email him or comment on the Facebook links here. Please share these with your friends so that we can help as many people as possible. And we're going to try and keep these fun and free for as long as we can. You guys have a wonderful day. Oh, I'm apparently the only one that can't hear Jason, so I guess we're probably talking over each other. How frustrating for him. I'll just stop talking then.
All right. For everybody that can still hear me, I just wanted to show you a natural way to do a whistle. It's not super, I mean, it's pretty loud, but you only get really short blasts out of it. But I learned this from my dad when I was a kid. But all you need is a blade of grass. A lot of you probably know how to do this, but there's some of them that you probably don't. Also, most people carry a sandwich bag or something in their backpack survival kit, or a piece of plastic. If you are a smoker, that little tab that you use to open up the cellophane wrapper, or you can use the cellophane wrapper. All you cut that into a thin strip or whatever. But with a blade of grass, what I do is I pinch it between these two fingers. Try to get so just pinch it between your fingers, pull it down to where it touches the palm of your thumb here, and then stick your hand over top of it. You see, the blade of grass in between my fingers there. And then all you need to do is blow. If it breaks on you, just get another piece of grass. But I'm trying not to blow it too loud inside. But outside, this thing echoes like crazy, super loud. And if you can get 3 blasts out of it, that could be a good emergency signal. Let's see if I can do this one. I don't know. Just keep cycling through grass until you find one that's really loud. You can get a leaf, and you can cut a leaf into strips or anything. Just a nice, strong single blade of grass, and you can make a whistle. I'm going to try it here with one more piece, and then I'm going to show you a strip of plastic. Outside, that's really loud. Next thing I did, I just had a piece of plastic bag here, and I just cut a small strip off of that. I can hear myself talking still through the headphones. It's kind of obnoxious. Too thin, but you can see that just a small piece of plastic will also work. I cut a piece off of this sandwich bag. I have another piece laying around here. But just use what you have available. I don't want to keep doing that because that's a super obnoxious sound. But out in the woods, that is a very unnatural sound. And if you're sitting there blowing that over and over and over again, 3 blasts, like Aaron mentioned earlier, 3 blasts, take a break for 30 seconds or a minute. 3 more blasts of it, take a break for 30 seconds, and just keep doing that over and over and over again. And anybody that's revival savvy will realize that that's some sort of emergency signal. Even though it's not a pretty whistle sound, it's still something that penetrates the natural sounds around you, and people are going to start paying attention to it. But yeah, I mean, this grass outside, especially you're in a valley or something like that, is going to be super loud, and it's going to save your voice. Your voice, if you sit there and scream and scream and scream, and eventually your voice is going to give out, or your voice just doesn't carry. It's more of a natural sound in the wild. It just doesn't boom like it would with some shrill sound. But that's basically it for a natural whistle. Like I mentioned earlier, I dropped the link for the YouTube video that Aaron had playing. That's in chat, so go check that YouTube video out. For me, when we were going over that video, when he was talking, plus it was talking in the video, I couldn't hear him very well. He was kind of explaining things at the same time the video was, so you might not have been able to hear it very well. But if you go to that video, he explains the same thing that he did on here, and you can see exactly what he's talking about. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or anything else that they've used for whistles, either natural or carried in their pack, been able to use something? Go ahead and throw it in chat, and we'll answer any questions you have. But otherwise, it's we're kind of a short clip here. Other than whistles, other things that you can do, fire, obviously, setting up 3 fires in a row. That's another emergency signal. So a helicopter, airplane flying over, they see that fire. They see 3 columns of smoke. They know that something's going on. You can do 3 lines. A straight line is something very unnatural in the wild. If you can do 3 large, long, straight lines, say you're on the top of a hill and a snowbank, if you can take and lay logs in 3 lines along that snowbank, large enough that a small plane flying over, search and rescue plane flying over can see it. Obviously a jetliner that's 30,000 feet in the air is not going to see it. But if somebody's out looking for you, they see that those lines in the snow or the line in the ground, they're going to see that it's an emergency signal, and they'll know that something's going on. But kids, just really want to state that signal or whistles are not a toy. Like Aaron mentioned, it's the boy who cried wolf. If you're running around with a whistle and you're blowing it all the time, and your parents are used to hearing that whistle, when you are in trouble and you blow that whistle, they're going to think that you're playing. So don't be playing with whistles like they're a toy, unless they're like that harmonica one that's more of a pleasant sound, just so you're practicing and using it as a toy. But do not use emergency signal whistles. Otherwise, when you're really in trouble, nobody's going to come running. So William says he likes to use super loud whistles out of 2 strips of an aluminum can. always blows people's mind when you can make one of those. I'm gonna have to give it a try. William, you should send me maybe send me some information on that. I've never done that. So is it just 2 strips of aluminum? I'd be curious to know how that works. All right. Well, I think we're done. It was a real short session here, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a couple ways you can. Oh. There's a couple ways you can.
Sorry, we got a little bit of a delay here.
There's a couple ways you can. Sorry, we got a little bit of a delay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I should keep talking about it or not. I'm a couple minutes, or I guess seconds behind you. So with the whistle thing, there's a couple really cool ways to do it with the tinfoil. But I'll probably just try and talk about that some other time when we figure out if it's my computer or the connection or what's going on here. So with the whistle thing, there's a couple really cool ways to do it with the tinfoil. But yeah, you can. You can also carve a really, really loud, really nifty whistle out of just a couple pieces of bark, similar to the can. Yeah, you can.
All right, guys. See if I can't get Hutch to respond here.
No. Takes some carving.
Okay, so it takes a little bit of carving, like Hutch says, to do a whistle out of bark. We'll try and get a video out on YouTube so you guys can watch that. But all these small crafts you can do, pretty fun to do with your kids. We'll try and get something out, like I said. But try out those bottle caps, like he was showing you. Make a whistle out of bottle cap. Otherwise, try it out with the grass piece of plastic. Anything that's going to make a loud noise that's not your voice. But since we're having technical difficulties, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Sorry about that, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we'll try to get something out to you. See you again next time. We should see you here in a few days. Take care, everybody.